I wanted to make this simple because there's a lot of misinformation out there surrounding what to look for on a label if you're eating low carb or keto. So we're gonna make this very simple, very basic, and we can delve deeper in other videos if there's any questions that come up. But I figured people need a place to start. What to keep an eye out for on a specific label if you're doing the ketogenic diet. Hey, please go ahead and hit that red subscribe button that's down there in the corner, and then please hit that little bell icon so you can turn on notifications to know whenever I go live. Now, also, after this video, I want you to check out Thrive Market. Maybe you've heard of Thrive Market before. They're an online grocery store. Now, the cool thing is they have all kinds of different keto and fasting options just there in their just plethora of items anyway. But the cool thing is I've been able to create keto and fasting boxes where I go on Thrive and I pick the groceries that I think are the best and I put them in a box. And that way people that watch my videos can go check them out and buy those grocery boxes. It's pretty cool, it's a pretty nifty idea. So anyway, after this video, check them out. They're down below in the description, special link for everybody. All right, let's just dive right in. The first thing that you want to pay attention to on a label, and it may seem very juvenile to even talk about this, is the serving size. The reason I say this is because if you compare the serving size of pistachios to Brazil nuts, for example, it might still be 1 ounce, but you're gonna be looking at like 8 Brazil nuts versus 60 pistachios, right? So you really need to understand what the actual serving size is. And sometimes they'll try to fool you, okay? They will add lots of little serving sizes to make a package seem like there's more, right? So we'll talk about that in a second. Very simple one, always pay attention to that. Okay, number 2, the number of servings per container. This is where things get wild, right? Okay, so if you look at the carbohydrates in a package of something and you see that it says, oh, there's only 2 grams of carbs, I can eat this. But then you look at the servings per container and you realize, oh, there's 467 servings per container. Okay, then it encourages you to look at the serving size. Very important. This has saved my behind so many times by looking at this. I have almost gotten myself into some pretty sketchy situations. And you may have seen it in some of my grocery haul videos where I'm at the grocery store and I almost get something and then I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, the next one is net carbs. Again, very simple here, but I'm gonna throw a little curveball for you. What net carbs are going to be the normal total aggregate amount of carbohydrates minus sugar alcohols and minus fibers and things like that, because they don't have as much of an effect on your blood sugar. One thing that I want you to pay attention to is soluble fiber. Okay, soluble fiber is going to be better than insoluble fiber because it's going to expand and give you more roughage, and it also helps things move through your intestinal tract. So soluble fiber almost reduces the carb count even more. So if you see on a label it says soluble fiber, aim for something that has a higher amount of that. Sugar alcohols, here's the thing. A lot of keto experts out there will tell you that sugar alcohols don't count towards your net carbs. And by FDA guidelines, they do not. But everybody is different. If I have sugar alcohols, I get kicked out of ketosis pretty easily. So you need to really be testing your own ketones, but more importantly, pay attention to that because you're probably better off just reducing the sugar alcohols, honestly. Okay, the next one is sneaky sugars. Here's some tips for you. Okay, if you see any of these things on the label, put it back. Dextrose, maltodextrin, okay, molasses. It's a sneaky one. It's a way of them putting sugar in, but sounding all natural. Hey, sweetened with good old-fashioned grandma's molasses, right? Okay, and then we've got anything that's gonna be X syrup, cane syrup, corn syrup, anything syrup, anything X nectar, coconut nectar, whatever, right? Anything X juice concentrate. Okay, oh, it's all natural. It's got grape juice concentrate. That means it's got concentrated fructose, okay? Not good, so avoid all those, they're sneaky. Unapproved sweeteners. I put this on here because this is my general list. I could expand, and I definitely do in other videos, but this is just the basics. If it has these in it, try to avoid it, put it back. Maltitol, bloat city, toilet city. Sorbitol, bloat city, cramp city, also toilet city. Saccharin, cancer links. Acesulfame potassium, insulin spikes. It can kick you out of keto if you have much of that. Acesulfame potassium, seen on a label as acesulfame K. Okay, next up, if they've got grains in them, we have to be very careful. Small amounts are okay, but if you see any of these things in the upper portion of the label, in the ingredients, when you look at the ingredient list, you'll see a list of ingredients. The ingredients that are at the top of that list are the ones that are most prevalent in that food. So if you see these items in the first half of the ingredient list, put it back. Especially wheat or gluten. Thyroid destroyer as far as things are concerned, okay? No scientific literature to officially back up that it's going to destroy your thyroid, okay? I'm kind of exaggerating that, but there are effects on our inflammatory system, on a leaky gut, and it can be very damaging for your body, but it's also just inflammatory in general. Okay, anything barley, rye, bran, bulgur, corn, anything that is X-germ, okay, wheat germ, okay, anything that is X-meal, corn meal, anything that is X-starch, potato starch. Okay, you're gonna find potato starch in a lot of keto foods down at the bottom of the list. I'm not too concerned with that, but it's up top, be careful. Oats, try to avoid. 7, anything that is partially hydrogenated X. Okay, partially hydrogenated vegetable oil, partially hydrogenated soybean oil. That is a trans fat disguised in a partially hydrogenated, it's just partially a serial killer. It's not a big deal. Just put it back, all right? Number 8, processed vegetable oils. Okay, so these vegetable oils are some of the most disruptive, oxidizing things that we consume today. Sugars and these processed oils are, in my opinion, they're in the same jail cell. They're terrible, okay? Canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil, safflower oil, rapeseed oil, peanut oil. Peanut oil is a question mark because some of them are okay. But for the most part, with the exception of peanut, if you see any of those, you really need to be careful. And a lot of keto foods, unfortunately, are jumping on the bandwagon by throwing the canola oil in there just because it's cheap. Canola is made from rapeseed, which is toxic. It has to go through a bleaching process and this whole process just to even make it palatable and not toxic. 9, anything reduced fat. And I put this out there, it's simple, but if it says reduced fat on there, it means that they're doing something to extract the fat and they have to put something else in there to change the flavor, right? Okay, very important thing to see, and that's usually on the front of the label. Now I want to give you a quick breakdown on buying meats really quick, okay? Grass-fed doesn't always mean that it's grass-finished, okay? Grass-fed just means that at some point in that cow or animal's lifetime, it ate grass. No added hormones. That means within the last 30 days that the FDA requires, they don't give them any hormones. But they could have had hormones their entire life. You want to be looking for no added hormones ever, or no hormones ever. Same with antibiotics. No antibiotics. That means, or antibiotic free. That means they didn't have antibiotics in the last few weeks. We want no antibiotics ever, or raised, or from chickens that have never been given antibiotics. Anything like that that actually says they've never been. That's the stuff you have to pay attention to, okay? Because it's not that that stuff's gonna instantly kill you, but it's gonna add up, and you gotta be careful there. So this is the basics, the 10 things to watch for on a label. Again, if you want me to expand on specific things, I'm happy to do it. As always, keep it locked in here on my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.